Well, welcome back into the show. We start the B block with what turned out to be an absolute classic in Easton, Brandon. The Warriors hosted the Decatur Seahawks, and Decatur came into tonight's game looking to get back into the win column after last week's loss to Queen Anne's.
Yeah, this game lived up to the hype and then some.
Now let's get into those highlights. We're going to start in the third quarter. Easton was ahead 20-14, Brandon. Bryson Coleman's going to take it all the way in for the score.
Yeah, Bryson Coleman, you can't let him get out of the pocket right here, and there he goes. Folks at home, you're watching one of the best in the Bayside right there. Decatur trying to make something happen right here. Coleman scrambling outside the pocket, going to air it out downfield, but it's picked off by Chase Rabb, and the turnover for the Seahawks and Easton would take over.
Now Warriors back in their own end zone for this drive. O'Connor is going to hand it off, but the Seahawks defense meets him, and they get the safety. 23-20 for Decatur. Huge defensive stop by the defense, but Easton would not go anywhere. O'Connor is going to scramble, and he pitches it out to Dustin Blue. Blue's going to work some magic, and he's going to find his way into the end zone. Easton goes back up 26-23 now. Now, these two teams will keep trading blows this entire game. Decatur's going to line up in a wildcat formation, and Luke Murgott fights his way through for the touchdown. Seahawks back on top, and like I said, trading blows back and forth. O'Connor, it was going to be in the pocket, and he's going to air it out downfield and find Jordan Nixon. You see the play right here. Look at this perfect spiral.
Nixon's become one of the best wide receivers in the Bayside this year.
Absolutely, especially with that clutch grab right there, giving his Warriors the 34-30 lead. But Brandon, you mentioned him earlier, Bryson Coleman. He has ice in his veins, and he wants that ball, and you're going to see him taking a direct snap, and Coleman's going to put O'Connor on skates. Look at this move. Woo!
That's a Duke commit right there.
Oh, my goodness, right there. He's in for the touchdown. He stares down the camera. That score would be the end. Would end up being the final nail in the coffin. Decatur takes down Easton in a dramatic fashion. They win one of the best games of the season in a final score of 37-34. Brandon, we've been treated to some great football in the Bayside recently. We got another game that happened yesterday. We're going to preview. We're going to show in a little bit. But there's 5 teams that stand above the rest in the Bayside. These 2 teams that we just saw, Y-High, Kent Island, and Queen Anne's, all these teams keep beating up on each other, and Easton was so close to beating the Seahawks. They already beat the Lions. They already beat the Bucks. If they were able to finish this game off against the Seahawks, in my opinion, they would have had the best resume of wins and being the team that would have been number 1 in the Bayside overall. But Decatur would not be denied. They showed a lot of heart in this game, and they weren't discouraged by those late touchdowns that Easton kept throwing their way. They were like, you know what? We're here with you. We're going to win, and Coleman had to take over the game, and that's exactly what he did.
That was a fantastic game to watch. I think the big play of this game was the fake punt by Bryson Coleman in the fourth quarter when they were down 4 points midway through the fourth. That was a gutsy call. I don't know if Jake Coleman called it from the sidelines or if Bryson saw something on that play, but that was gutsy, and that turned the game around, in my opinion. Without that fake punt, it leads to another touchdown for Decatur. I don't know if Decatur actually goes on to win that game, but what's fun about this game is we see the Duke commits going up against each other. Luke Murgott and Kevin O'Connor trading blows, both playing defense, both playing offense. That was just a fun back-and-forth game to watch.
Absolutely, and again, the play that stands out to me is definitely Coleman, making O'Connor see some grass right there. That play right there, you see it right there. I mean, that's just good speed, good shiftiness right there.
And that's the thing is Bryson Coleman, we're going to see him back again next year.
Wow, so yeah,
he is so much fun to watch. And the thing about Decatur is we've seen him playing wide receiver recently, which is what he did last year. He was one of the best wide receivers in the Bayside Conference last year. Been lining up at quarterback this season. So, with the Seahawks, they've got the jack of all trades, the Swiss Army knife there in Bryson Coleman. Put him at quarterback, put him at wide receiver. But I think they're better off with him at quarterback.
I think so, too, and I think he showed that tonight. Now, to the game to decide the 1A division crown up north. That's over to CSD. They hosted Colonel Richardson. Now, Kayon Marine gets the rock, and he's going to blow down the sideline, and no one is going to catch him. He's going to go and score in, putting CSD up 6-0 early. But they want to make that lead bigger. Next drive for the Vikings, Jaden Ferguson. He's going to get the handoff, and he moves to the outside, and he's going to take off down the sideline. The sideline was the Vikings' friends early on in this game. He goes all the way, and suddenly CSD is up 12-0 in the first at home. But Colonel would find a spark, and they wouldn't slow down. CR in the red zone, and Derek Mitchell is going to get the ball, and he moves up the middle through the defense. He fumbles the ball in the end zone, but he recovers it, and the Colonels are now only down 12-6. And the Colonels is going to keep their foot on the gas. Cameron Gondek wants the football. He's going to find an opening in the defense, and he takes it all the way in for 6. CR was once down 12-0. They scored 12 unanswered points to tie the game up. CSD and CR would each score one more time before halftime, and it would be deadlocked at 19. Now get this. This game went into overtime. Colonel wins the game thanks to a 6-yard touchdown by Gondek, and they win 25-19. What a great win for Colonel Richardson. They win the division title for the second straight year.
Yeah, and I want to give Coach James Jackson some credit here because Colonel Richardson came out and they started 0-2 this season, and they've now reeled off 6 straight victories, including this win against Cambridge South Dorchester. And hats off to Colonel Richardson because this is their second consecutive division title, and they hadn't won a division title in the past 4 decades before last year. So he has really turned that program around. Congratulations to all the kids up there at Colonel Richardson. Let's move on now to the Tribe. They were at County Stadium last night, and they were assigned with stopping KJ Smothers of the Queen Anne Lions. Not many people can say that they've done that. The Lions on the move first. Ashton Seawald gets it on the reverse, and here he comes. There he goes, 55 yards. Touchdown Lions. They were on top 6-0. Darius Foreman would score next to tie the game at 7. Next possession, Foreman again, 4th down, calling his own number, and watch him go. Man, turns on the jets, and he is gone. Track race to the house.
From his own 11-yard line.
89 yards. That's
Wow.
impressive right there. And the Tribe go up 14-6. Now next Queen Anne's possession, it's Devin Wright to Ja Roy in the end zone. He really threaded the needle on that pass.
Yeah, great catch too right there, and that was a much-needed touchdown to get that lead back.
All right, so now Tribe falling behind by a score. Foreman and Malik Leatherbury. That is a magical connection so far this season for the Tribe. Leatherbury laying out to get that ball, and so the Tribe going to try to come back in this one, but Queen Anne's just too much. KJ Smothers going in for the score, his 3rd of the game, over 300 yards on the ground. And Queen Anne's goes into Y-High, and they snatch the victory, 35-28.
All right, but my linemen, they did it all for me, you know what I mean? Without them, I don't get as many yards as I do, you know what I mean? So I give it all to them. I don't take any of the credit because they don't really get any credit, you know what I mean? It's the best line in the base, maybe the best line in the state. I mean, I like to be patient so I could just see the right hole at the right time, you know what I mean, hit it. I don't like to go too fast. You go too fast and you don't get as many yards as you could. I try to make the most out of every run.
This game also from yesterday, North Carolina versus Parkside, 2-5 teams. Don't let their records deceive you. These two teams are talented and well-coached programs. Bulldogs up 2 scores after that score. Parkside needed an answer badly here, and they're in the red zone. They give it to Bryant Waters, and the bruising back punches it in. Parkside right back in it, but that's as close as North Carolina would allow them to get. Zamir Smith gets the rock, and he zigzags through traffic, goes all the way into the end zone. Bulldogs take a commanding 21-7 lead. Bulldogs back on the attack. Again, Trent Towson gets the handoff, and watch him work. He destroys the Rams defense, and he goes all the way. North Carolina ran over the Rams yesterday. Parkside falls to the Bulldogs in a final score of 43-13.
And now 2 more scores to get to tonight as Kent County with a 40-0 victory over Washington. And for the Trojans, they now move to 2-6 on the season, and Snow Hill falls to Northampton 48-36.
Now, Brandon, how much do you think that Y-High game changes the way that you view these teams in the Bayside?
It doesn't change it much at all because that was such a tremendous game that we watched, and both teams laid it all out there yesterday. KJ Smothers, incredible once again. We've seen it basically every single game so far this year.
Every week. He's one of the best rushers in the entire state.
He is automatic. And then give Y-High some credit, though, because I'm not sure how healthy Darius Foreman was in that second half. So in 2 of their 3 losses this year, Malik Leatherbury hurt against Decatur in the second half in their game. And then there were questions about Foreman's health last night in the second half. So Y-High, clearly a talented team. But I got to say, I'm a little wary of Y High because you can't rely solely on a couple of guys on your team.
Yep.
But Queen Anne seems like a more complete team right now in my eyes after that game.
And you mentioned in terms of the health of the tribe, Mekhi Johnson, he also was out too, one of their leading defensive players and
That's
one of
a
their
big
running
loss
backs.
for them.
He was on the sideline the entire game. So as you mentioned, I don't want to make it seem like it's excuses because at the end of the day, they're all playing the same game and they all have to stay healthy. And the healthy teams are usually the ones that win. But Y High dealing with a little bit of an injury bug that has affected them in their 3 losses. So Brandon, my last question to you is, out of the team so far, who's your top team in the Bayside?
Right now, I'm still going with Kent Island. I think Kent Island, the Bucks, they are the most complete team.
I would have to say Queen Anne's. That would be my team. I mean, it changes every week. These guys are always beating up on each other. But Queen Anne's so far is showing me that they have the, as you mentioned, the most complete team in the Bayside so far. I'd have to choose them.
Well, that's the thing is next week we've got Kent Island versus Queen Anne's
Yeah, so we get to see
who's the real kings of the North. We will find out next week.
Oh, my God, that's going to be a great game. That's going to be a great game. Now, when we come back, we have a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Rich Woods.
Hi, I'm Gavin Saluda with Decatur Football, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.